So welcome back to another episode, and yes, the episode is called The End of Collecting. As we know it, it's a really strange time, and I really want to deep dive into this topic, and especially the topic of Nintendo keycards, and what that means, and what it is for everybody, who's right, who's wrong. And yes, this is about the game keycard situation. And I'll ask you guys, what do you think of the game keycard situation? Let me know down below. This is not an easy video for me to make, I can tell you that. Because 30 years ago, I got in my car and I drove to a video game store, and guess what I picked up? I picked up Chrono Trigger. Here's my original copy right here. And I bought it. I paid $99 for it. I came home, I played it, I finished it. A beloved classic for all time. And for me, 30 years later, it's still sitting up on my shelf, and I can still go and put it in my Super Nintendo and play it. I can't believe we're at a time where this concept would be challenged, but it is. And not only challenged, but completely changed forever. And so, let's get into it. So Nintendo Switch 2 got announced, and they announced keycards. And everybody was talking about it. I was talking about it with my friends. We're like, what does this mean? And I want to say something interesting to begin with. I'm going to be on Nintendo's side just for this bit to begin with. I think they were sitting there behind the scenes and going, okay, we got a new system coming out, and game cartridges are very expensive, games have become bigger, how can we compensate and help everybody? And I don't think Nintendo went into it to be anti-consumer. I don't think they even thought of it that way. They thought, how can we give video gamers, our audience, how can we give them what they want, the consumer, what they want, but also appeal to these gigantic games? And they created the game keycard, where it's a card where the game is not on it. You put it in your Nintendo Switch 2 and you download the game from Nintendo Switch 2 servers. And then the game magically appears. Isn't that amazing? But you can take the cartridge and you can sell it at an EB Games or whatever you would want to do with it at that point. They think that, hey, we're doing a great service here, because we give the customer exactly what they want, they will get the game, and they can have a physical game that they can keep. But they seem to have missed everything else. Everything else. I want to say something really brutal here, and I don't say it lightly. Nintendo created their cartridges to hold games on them so people can play them. This is their job. This is what they do. This is not my job. This is not my job. I wouldn't be very good at that job. It's not my thing, for sure. I'm not part of Nintendo. I'm not part of that ecosystem at all. My job is to talk about video games and enjoy video games, hopefully, and to enjoy that entire process. And I've been talking about video games for probably the last 40 years with my friends, colleagues, you guys, when I bump into you, down in the comments, everywhere. And I enjoy what I do. Nintendo has one job, and I don't want to sound really brutal here, but it's brutal. They created a 64 gigabyte cartridge that is insufficient. That was the other thing, it's insufficient. They can't get all of the data on there for certain games, especially gigantic games. You know, Persona 3 Reload, great games, by the way. Nothing against the games. The games are great. But they won't fit on the 64 gigabyte cartridge. So they think it's a great idea that you will just download the game. But it's not, because it just completely fills up your Nintendo Switch, and then you have to delete other things, and it defeats the entire purpose of collecting. And we're gonna get into all the details of that.
Alright, I hope you're ready.
Nintendo's job was to create a cartridge or whatever format they wanted to put the games on. And they took this other direction. And it's a direction that I really do not like. Some people will say something amazing and they would be right about this. Hey, PlayStation's been doing it for years. Xbox has been doing it for years. You're right. You're 100% right. In fact, I bought this for my wife. Baldur's Gate 3 here. It's the PS5 version, the Japanese version, because we want to have a physical version of the game where, guess what? Most of the game is not on here. We had to download it. But I guess I like the idea of getting a physical copy. I didn't know how much wasn't on here until I got it. But there's a lot of PS5 games like that. A lot. And a lot of Xbox games like that. But Nintendo was our last vigil. They were the last ones holding on to physical media. So I was kind of like going, you know, PlayStation, I don't really like what you're doing, and Xbox, I don't really like this. But, you know, Nintendo kind of, I don't know what it was in my mind. They kind of evened it out. I was like, well, you know, I can still collect on Nintendo and stuff like that. I can get some of those games on Nintendo. And I've really enjoyed collecting for the Nintendo Switch. Look at this beautiful, beautiful copy that I know in 30 years I can put into my Nintendo Switch and I can play it. Where that's the other thing. That's the other problem with the game keycard. What happens in the future? What happens when the system, the Switch 2, is out of fancy? And they're onto the Switch 4. And they're like, you know what? Just kill all the stuff for Switch 2. And I just, like you, a lot of you, don't have the confidence. I don't have the confidence to rely on game keycard servers for an indefinite amount of time. One day they will be offline, and one day there will be no games. All the games you bought will be gone. Another interesting fact is that people are not enjoying the game keycards. They're not. And I just want to start by saying that I initially, and in every video about the Nintendo Switch 2, have said how much I do not like the game keycards. In fact, when I went to the Nintendo Experience 2, I was asked by a lot of Nintendo higher-ups, and I'm not mentioning names or who anybody is, we're not doing any of that, but they just asked me like a simple question, which is a normal question. What do you think of the Switch 2? And I said, you know what? I really like Mario Kart World, and I really like Bonanza. It's weird, but I like it. It's interesting. But I don't like the keycards, I said. I don't like them, and my audience doesn't like them. Nintendo knows. Nintendo knows, but they're kind of caught in a bit of a hard space now because they've committed to this format. And everybody's not liking the format. Nobody wants to collect the format. I will say that I will buy every single first-party Nintendo game that is released not as a game keycard. So obviously Mario Kart World, obviously Donkey Kong Bonanza I picked up. And it seems, this is just off the internet the other day, I saw this, it's very fascinating. The top 10 selling Switch 2 games on Amazon are physical copies of the games, not keycard versions, physical copies of the games. Like Cyberpunk is in there, and quite a few other games. So people are kind of answering back. And yes, is everybody going after Nintendo on this one? They are, because they were the last ones holding up the pillars of collecting and of game cartridges having the entire game. How many videos have you seen and how many collections do you own personally that have gigantic red boxes behind you or in front of you or beside you, wherever, maybe in the garage, somewhere, of all of those Nintendo Switch games? We were proud to own for the Nintendo Switch. I was proud. I was so enjoying collecting on the Nintendo Switch. I can't even tell you, like a lot of you. And it just feels like the rug is being pulled from all underneath us, and it is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I really, so great example. You know, I'm a big East fan. Maybe you know that. But I was so excited to see that they're bringing Celcetter Memoir to Switch 1. And I was like, yes, I'm definitely picking that little collector's item up. And yeah, because like the game's going to be on there. And that's how I think. I'm like, the game's going to be on there. Of course I'm going to get it that way. That's cool. And the day before, I had the opposite reaction when I saw Ys 10 Nordics Proud. That's kind of like the DLC. They're adding a whole bunch of extra stuff to the game, coming to Nintendo Switch 2. And it wasn't just me. My initial thought was, oh no. And then I read all the comments. I was reading this on X. And everybody's just absolutely upset, going, this is the first Ys game I'm not going to buy. And my heart dropped. My heart dropped. My heart dropped for NIS, for Nintendo, and for Ys fans. Everybody can't meet in the middle on this. They can't, and they don't want to. And I just want to say something. There is a lot of people out there as well that don't care at all. And I understand that. People are like, I don't care. You know, I've been buying digital for years. You know, I'm on Steam. I don't care. And you know what? You're entitled to that. And I absolutely, shake hands with you and agree with your opinion. You're allowed to like digital games. And there's an entire generation who've grown up with this digital games. I had a big, long discussion with a young guy in a comic book shop and how proud he was of not collecting or owning physical games. He goes, oh, that's for older people. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of walked away from that conversation and I thought, well, yes, I said, you will own nothing and you'll like it. It's so strange. It's just weird as anything to me. Who wouldn't want to buy something and own it? There's a lot of people that are like that, and that's cool. I'm just not one of them. I guess I'm just getting concerned as we're getting into a more digital age and more AI stuff is coming in here and there, and before you know it, you'll just be playing a full AI game and you won't own anything, and you'll be like, how did this happen? And it's like, well, we let it happen. And yeah, and there's a lot of people upset about this. Including me. And it's just kicked the sales for me. And it's fascinating because Nintendo did something that they do once in a while to really test the waters of what's going on out there, to touch the fan bases. And they put out a survey about game keycards and about what they were doing. And I put it up on X and I kind of retweeted it and said, everybody, go in here and let your voices be heard. I want to collect for Switch 2. It's heartbreaking. I don't feel like I could buy a collector's edition with a game keycard in it. That's just me personally. I don't feel that way. I will, I'm saying this in this video, I will, get sent a review code for a game, and I will, I'll play it and review it for the game itself. Like a game that I'm thinking about doing that for, obviously, will be for Persona 3 Reload, a game that we loved on PS5, and I'm really interested to play the Switch version. Me and Kim both are, and to see some of the differences and that. So I will definitely review it, and I will buy a copy to support my review, because I will never tell anybody to buy a game on this channel that I haven't bought myself. That's very important to me. Like that's the essence of the channel. So that's kind of like a moral thing that I've got to do. I have to do. But I won't buy any collector's editions for Switch 2 without the full game being on there. And it's heartbreaking. I see so many collector's editions being announced, and you see the keycard. And another thing I want to say that I can't stand with this whole keycard situation, it's a situation. It's ruined cover art. It's ruined the Switch 2 cover art. I think for its entire lifespan it will. Because if you're buying a game keycard, there's a big lot of white writing at the bottom. All this, a little statement that we had to put on. The game's actually not on here, blah, blah, blah. And they put that on the cover. And it takes away from the beautiful artwork. And that's something that's really, really bothered me quite a lot, is how it detracts from the cover art. And that's another thing that I love about video games. I love buying a game. I'm just bringing up Chrono Trigger because it's its 30th anniversary as well. Look at that. Could you imagine over here? It says, by the way, the game's actually not on here. You got to download it. But it's unbelievable. It's a very strange time to be in as a video game fan fanatic. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it. I bet a lot of you in the comments are like, no big deal. No big deal to me. A lot of you feel the same way because I talk to a lot of you. I do, and I read your comments. I do. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. It's one of those things that I wonder if they're going to find a way out of this, because game keycards are not selling. They're not selling the same way of physical games on Switch 2 cartridges. And I wonder as the games get bigger for Nintendo, what they're going to do. What if they put out what are they going to do with the next Zelda when it's gigantic? Game keycard? Or will they be able to just get it all in there? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think so. And I feel sorry. Do you know who I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for all of us, but all the game developers, who are great, behind the scenes making the games that we want to play. That they're, caught between a rock and a hard place. That Nintendo's going, it's only this size. You have to use a key card. And I think they're looking at things going, well, I don't know. People are complaining every time we talk about putting out a game on keycard. This feels very anti-consumer in a way. And I'm saying that it's because of the backlash. And there is a backlash. It's not like it's kind of a perceived backlash. There's a huge backlash about it. It's not invisible, and it's not a game keycard. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. What a time to be a collector. And I'm telling you, I know it. I know PS5 has done it for years. I know I got some collector's editions for PS5 games. The whole game's not on there. I get it. But Nintendo was always the company growing up for me, from the NES to the Super Nintendo to the N64 to the GameCube to the Wii to the Wii U and so on to the Switch. The Switch will go down. The Nintendo Switch 1 will go down as one of the... I'm just stating it for me. I'm not stating it for you. One of the best systems to ever collect for. I own hundreds of Switch 1 games, and I love it. It makes me genuinely happy to see the collection. And some days, I know, this is kind of funny, I do this. I pull them all out, and I'll just sit there and I'll go through them. Oh, this is great. I'm so happy I own this. And I own them. It's like owning money. I got money instead of invisible money. But we all use invisible money now, don't we? And that's the way everything is going.
What? You've got to be kidding me!
Nintendo tried to find a hybrid between those expensive cartridges and digital only, which they just have to, give you a download code. You just download it, or a key card. There was that moment of trying to bridge it. And by trying to give to both, they failed completely in that regard. And we own nothing from it. And I know they were coming from a good place. They thought, this is how we do it, because it's going to a digital in the future, but we'll upset everybody if we go just completely digital, so we won't. So we'll create this hybrid keycard, and we'll appease both people, but they didn't. And here we are. And it's a very strange place to be sitting in 2025.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm genuinely upset right now. I'm genuinely worked up about it. I have to take a deep breath. I do. I'm all ebbed up about it. Usually I like to come in and just do videos about games I love and things that I'm enjoying and I want to share. I like to share the love of this hobby like a lot of you do. You just want to share the love and have some fun. And a lot of us had fun collecting. Bigger boxes and stuff like that. And some of us, still collected games from the old days. We love bringing this up, bringing up a great old classic like Super Mario Bros. 3. Takes us back to that time where I'll pick up some of these Switch 2 game key cards and I'll pick it up and, if I'm still alive in 10 years time, 20 years time, I'll look back and like, oh, I don't own anything. I don't own anything from back then. My memories don't exist.
Coming in hot!
Oh, troubling times. Guys, what do you think of the game keycard situation? Let me know down below, and I am out of here. So anyways, guys, until next time.